Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, first published in 1813, is a timeless tale of love, class, and society in 19th century England. The novel follows the Bennet family, especially Elizabeth Bennet, as she navigates a world filled with pride, prejudice, and unexpected romance. The story revolves around the Bennet family, particularly the five Bennet sisters, Jane, Elizabeth, Mary, Kitty, and Lydia. Their mother, Mrs. Bennet, is determined to marry them off to wealthy men since their father's estate is entailed to a male heir, leaving the girls without inheritance. Two eligible bachelors soon arrive in the neighborhood: Mr. Bingley, who is friendly and charming, and his friend Mr. Darcy, who comes off as proud and reserved. Mr. Bingley quickly takes a liking to Jane Bennet, the eldest sister. But Mr. Darcy's cold demeanor doesn't impress Elizabeth Bennet. Mr. Darcy's initial opinion of Elizabeth is far from flattering. He considers her tolerable but not handsome enough to tempt him. Elizabeth overhears this, setting the tone for their complicated relationship. Not long after, Elizabeth meets the handsome Mr. Wickham, a militia officer who shares a troubling story about how Darcy wronged him. Wickham claims that Darcy denied him an inheritance, further deepening Elizabeth's negative view of Darcy. Meanwhile, Mr. Bingley and Jane's romance begins to bloom. But Darcy, convinced that Jane doesn't truly love Bingley, persuades his friend to leave the area, breaking Jane's heart. Elizabeth finds comfort in her close relatives, the Gardiners, particularly Mrs. Gardiner, who offers wisdom and guidance. They discuss Jane's heartbreak, and later the Gardiners play a crucial role in Elizabeth's personal growth and view of Darcy. Then there's Mr. Collins, a clergyman and distant cousin, who will inherit the Bennet estate. He proposes to Elizabeth, but she turns him down, much to her mother's dismay. Soon after, Mr. Collins marries Elizabeth's best friend, Charlotte Lucas. Things take a dramatic turn when Mr. Darcy, despite his earlier coldness, proposes to Elizabeth. However, his proposal is far from romantic. He highlights her family's lower status, and Elizabeth, angered by his arrogance and his role in separating Jane and Bingley, rejects him outright. Darcy later writes a letter to Elizabeth explaining his actions. He reveals that he separated Jane and Bingley because he doubted Jane's feelings and exposes the truth about Mr. Wickham, who, far from being a victim, had tried to elope with Darcy's sister for her fortune. This revelation changes Elizabeth's view of Darcy entirely. Shortly after, scandal strikes the Bennet family when Lydia, the youngest sister, elopes with Wickham. This could ruin the family's reputation, but Darcy steps in to quietly arrange their marriage, paying off Wickham and saving the Bennets from disgrace. Elizabeth learns of Darcy's intervention and begins to see him in a new light. Enter Lady Catherine de Bourgh, Darcy's wealthy and overbearing aunt. She pays an unexpected visit to Elizabeth, demanding that she promise never to marry Darcy, as Lady Catherine expects Darcy to marry her own daughter. Elizabeth refuses, standing her ground. When Darcy proposes again, this time with true humility, Elizabeth accepts. Jane and Bingley also reunite, and both couples find their happy ending. Pride and Prejudice is more than just a love story. It's a sharp commentary on social class, marriage, and the importance of looking beyond first impressions. Through Elizabeth and Darcy's journey, Jane Austen explores the themes of pride, prejudice, and personal growth. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and share for more book summaries.